as my hopes have flown before. And the bird said nevermore.
You're listening to the Call Podcast with Brandon and Josh.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new edition of The Call. It is a Baltimore Ravens podcast where we talk anything and everything Baltimore Ravens football. Thank you all for listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Player.fm, Overcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. Well, that didn't go according to plan this past week, did it? No, it did not.
What do you mean? They won.
All right, I guess winning is winning. However,
That's right, Toretto said. That's right.
I feel like I've said that a lot this season. Doesn't matter whether you win by an inch or a mile, winning's winning. The Ravens have definitely proven that.
I mean, look, it's a valid case because, look, the Cowboys won, 54-19? Ravens won 9. Still counts the same. But we get it, right? It's about the context and what happened within the confines of that win. Yeah, it didn't go according as planned. I agree, but winning's winning. We can quote Fast and Furious all day long, but wow, how ugly was that?
Ugly is putting it lightly, but I think the big news coming out of this, Lamar Jackson taken out of the game. He's going to miss at least 1 to 3 weeks, they're saying. Josh, I was having flashbacks to last year. It was right around this time last year. This same thing happened. Lamar goes down once again, missing yet another game. But good news is we do have a solid backup in Snoop Huntley. People seem to really like him. The team seems to be rallying around him. He had a great showing in the few games he was in last year. He's looked good in the preseason. He looked all right in this past game. Heading into Steeler week, though, you want Lamar back there as your QB, but unfortunately, looks like Lamar is going to miss some time.
Yes, he's going to miss 1 to 3 weeks with a PCL sprain. You know, the MRIs came back negative, and good news on the diagnosis. It's not a whole season ending ruled out for the year kind of thing, needing surgery, but take it with a grain of salt because remember last year had the ankle sprain and didn't play the rest of the year. So we shall see. 1 to 3 weeks. Look, we have 5 games left. So, yes, you want 8 on the field. Gives us the best chance to win, but we're going to make an interesting case about that a little bit. So, addition to that, we had Patrick Queen down and out with an injury. The cart was brought out. I was there. Didn't look good at all. As soon as the cart was brought out, I was like, great. Patrick Queen was out for the year. Ended up being a high thigh bruise. I think the diagnosis was apparently it was equated to just like a car accident, like collision. Like he just collided, maybe equipment, helmet, knee hit his thigh, little thigh bruise. We'll see how he is, but again, not threatening him for out for the season, so that's good. We also had Isaiah Likely down. He's going to be fine. So, but Lamar is going to be the one that's going to be missing time, and of course Huntley came in. Flashbacks of last year, almost identical record. Last year, the Ravens, I think it was almost identical record. I mean, the Ravens were 8-3 at the time. They stand 8-4 this time with Lamar going down. Obviously, during the game, they didn't have the win intact, but it just was. It was one of those games, man. I mean, it was a 3-3 game. Obviously, Denver went up first 3-0. It was 9-3. Ravens couldn't get nothing going. We're sitting here like, are we really going to lose back-to-back games? Not only that, but are we really going to lose to these lowly Broncos? Obviously, the Broncos in their own right couldn't score. We knew how anemic they were on offense. It was a very boring game. I was sitting in the stands, man. It just was like the game was dragging. Like there was a lot of media timeouts, a lot of like lull time. I looked at the fans around me and I'm like, is this like the slowest game on earth? And it's even more agonizing because the Ravens couldn't get in gear. So I was pretty, the win is all great. And at the end of the day, we celebrated as fans, right? You know, exhale, I'm like, all right, Ravens are 8-4, right? They did jump to the 3rd seed with Tennessee losing. They are the 3rd seed in the AFC playoffs, which is crazy enough. They're division leaders still by half a game because Bengals did beat Kansas City. By the way, they have their number. It's insane right now. Speaking of the Bengals, Brandon, Joe Burrow and the Bengals are 3-0 against Patrick Mahomes, but they're 0-3 against the Browns.
You think about this, everybody was talking about Lamar versus Mahomes and that being like the new Manning versus Brady. I got to
Right.
say, the Bengals have kind of taken that title away from Lamar. Yes, it's been back and forth, but I mean, it seems like Joe Burrow owns the Chiefs. I mean, he can't lose against them.
Right. I mean, you can even make the case for the Bills this year with beating the Chiefs as well. So you look at the Chiefs, 3 losses. Obviously, the one with the Colts, they're not in the conversation as Bills and the Bengals. But look, fact remains is the Ravens have their hands full. Yeah, they remain the 3rd seed right now. They have 8 wins. Obviously the conference leader, the Bills right now have 9 wins. They're 9-3. The Ravens are 8-4. So you look in the terms of like record wise, you're like, look, Ravens are in good shape. But you pick apart behind, you peel the curtain back and you look at it and pick apart what's going on behind the scenes. The Ravens are 8-4, but reeling. And with 5 games to go, with 4 against divisional opponents, and 2 in a row on the road of that without number 8, Lamar Jackson, it looks bleak, right? But I'm going to bring up something to you because we're going to talk about this because I immediately noticed this right out of the gate when Lamar got hurt and all that and going into the second quarter. What did the Ravens not do in the first quarter that the offense could do the rest of the game? You probably already knew this, but I want to see if you recognize.
Well, I'm pretty sure you posted this on Discord while you were at the game, but
Yep.
they actually got like 3-4 plays in a row off, going down the field when Lamar was in. They couldn't get anything going.
It was alarming. Not only that, but like Lamar was inaccurate. He missed Andrews over the middle on a low throw. Andrews was sitting inside the zone defense, right in the middle of the field. The offense couldn't get anything going. Lamar goes out. Now, granted, first quarter of the game, and we're just focusing on this game. I'm not talking totality of the season or what Lamar hasn't or hasn't done. I'm talking Broncos Ravens past Sunday. First quarter, offense couldn't get anything going. You're right. They didn't even move the ball past midfield. Tyler Huntley comes in for an injured Lamar Jackson. Yeah, the first series they punted, but the second series, they moved the ball past midfield. You see Huntley completing passes, and the offense moved into enemy territory for the first time. I looked around and I noticed that right away. I'm like, that's alarming. Not only that, but I sent this to, I don't know if I posted this on Discord or socials or one of my group chats at the time, but I said, when the Ravens end up kicking a field goal in the late into the second quarter, mid through the second quarter to tie the game at 3, I was like, positive. Ravens move the ball. Negative. Another red zone field goal. Because Lamar Huntley did lead the team down inside the red zone again. They were within striking distance, but another red zone field goal. And I'm like, look, I know it's Tyler Huntley, but come on. Another red zone field goal. Like, come on, man.
You've been calling this guy Lamar Huntley for like 2 years. You know that?
I do it again.
Yes, you did.
Oh my goodness. It's easy to do, man.
Well, they're
similar. Not the same. Look, we're not going to compare. They're similar, and I get it. And talking about both quarterbacks interchangeably, it's very easy to do that Freudian slip. So I do apologize. Tyler Huntley, or I'll just say Snoop for the matter, his nickname. But fact remains is that was a very frustrating point because I'm like, what the heck changed with the offense? They didn't change coaches, did they? Remember how people calling for Roman's head a lot lately, right?
Yes.
Greg Roman changed in the middle of the game, but they changed quarterbacks. Why was Snoop able to move the ball and throw some accurate balls, and Lamar couldn't do it on Sunday? That was telling to me. Now, it could be a rhetorical question, or someone can answer it. But I'm very curious, and I want answers because I want to know why. Why did the offense all of a sudden move the ball? Why did that happen? Like, I'm really perplexed, and I really want to know. I want to know why because it's bothering me. What did you see?
Oh man, I'm trying to figure out the right words to say.
I got you stumped because I have no idea why, but it's alarming. I'll put it that way.
This entire week, I've noticed Harbaugh's come out to say it. Morgan Moses came out to say it. The team is rallying around Tyler Huntley. Like, they're excited for him to start. I'm wondering if Lamar doesn't have as many friends as we thought in the locker room? Are we seeing this happen on the field where these guys, they don't want to play with Lamar? Is there a chance we're seeing that? Lamar is, like we've said on the show many times, Lamar is the offense. And he's putting the team on his back, a la RG3 in 2012. Is this a team that doesn't want to hear about Lamar anymore? Is this a team, an offense that likes to play with him, but also is kind of sick of hearing about Lamar and his contract and all that kind of stuff? I'm wondering.
About Washington with Kirk Cousins at the time.
Yes.
And then it's almost like current Washington now with the Wentz and Heineke situation.
Yep.
Because Wentz came away and they were like, you keep Heineke in with the energy, and you saw it. I don't know if you saw that one game where Wentz went down. I believe it was on a Monday night game. If I remember, I know I was watching it, and Wentz went down. Heineke comes in. It was almost like they got energized on offense. You're like, yo, like
we're seeing that right now with the Jets, Zach Wilson, Mike White.
Yeah. So, I mean, in so many words, are we saying we have a quarterback controversy, which is insane to even talk about, right? It's Lamar. But I think it's real talk at this point because, you know, it's no secret that Lamar's been lackluster since week 3. I mean, dude, week 3, he was on tear. He was on MVP tear. And then, like, you play the Bills at home, and it's like they replaced him with somebody. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Lamar's lethargic. He's not energetic. And look, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I'm not in the locker rooms, obviously, not in the facility, but I'm observing when I'm watching on TV. I watch his demeanor, and when I'm at the games, I watch intently. I don't just watch the ball flying around the field and what's up. I watch intently on purpose in a few things, and I catch on a few things. And I'm noticing his body language is a little different. It's not like you can easily compare it back to 2019 when they were having fun and, yeah, winning's winning and it cures all that. But he was having fun. They were rallying around him. The whole Seattle, yeah, let's coach, let's go for it. Yeah, let's go. Like, there's that belief. Like, yeah, they've gone for it this year a few times, but it's like they line up, and now we're not like confident. Like, even as fans, like, oh yeah, they're lining up, they'll get this. Now we're like, are you serious? You're going to go for it. Now as fans, we're even a little, I wouldn't say scared, concerned that they're doing that. So I'm a little bit worried. I don't know if worried is the right word, but I would say, yeah, I'm a little worried because it's going to create that controversy with the locker room and the quarterback controversy, especially if Huntley finds it in him to learn from last year and kind of improve on some things. And if he just runs the offense and limits mistakes, what if he goes out and beats Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh? Oh my. Oh, now it's 2 wins in a row. You managing the offense? I don't know. I'm just saying. But, it's like maybe the team needs a break from Lamar. But then fans, it's funny because fans, you've seen it this year, right, Brandon? The fans have been really critical of Lamar, haven't they?
Oh, big time.
Big time. But I'm already seeing the whining and complaining even more so because now we got to go in the battle in enemy territory in Pittsburgh with Tyler Huntley. And people are all doom and gloom and complaining. I'm like, wait a minute. Did you not want Lamar in there? Because apparently you hated the guy. And it was like, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's intriguing to me. That's a good word to use from my end, man. This is going to be interesting to watch unfold over the next 2 or 3 weeks leading into the holiday season because, yeah, these are winnable games against winnable opponents, but they are your division. You play four out of 5 against this division. 2 of them are against Pittsburgh. And then you split 1-1 with the last of bouts with Cleveland and Cincinnati, both away games because we already had them here at home. So, and you throw the Falcons into the mix, who we know they're railing. They haven't been subpar. And the Steelers just beat them last Sunday as well. And waiting through all the mess, the win was all important because remember how the Jaguars game they lost, all 3 other division teams won that Sunday. So if somehow the Broncos would have won that game and the Ravens caught defeat, they would have had 2 weeks in a row of losses and 2 weeks in a row where they lost ground the AFC North because all the division opponents won the last 2 weeks. So the win, look, at the end of the day, when I was at that game, boy, was I frustrated for 59 and a half of those minutes. But, yeah, that last half minute We were elated, and especially walking out of stadium, it made the drive home great because I celebrated. Hey, as a fan, the team win. Hey, my team won on Sunday. There's winners and losers, and then obviously the Commanders and Giants tied, but there's winners and losers, and some people tie on Sundays. And Ravens were one of the winners, and they won their 8th game of the year. They're 8-4, and something to be happy about. But things are a mess right now, and it's like, where do they go from here? Yeah, they're getting players back, right? One exits, Lamar, other players are coming back. Obviously, Ronnie Stanley and Patrick Queen are a full participant in practice this week. JK is up in the air. Ojabo should be back, or should be back, I should say, with it should in big bold letters, because it's been like that for like the last 2 weeks. He's been activated for almost a month and hasn't been back yet. We shall see, man. But, bro, I don't know about you, but I was scared to leave that stadium if they'd have lost that game, because I swear fans would have rioted. Like that would have been one of the worst wins in franchise history. And I swear it's probably one of the ugliest wins. And we're talking a team that didn't score a touchdown in 21 quarters in the year 2000. That was an ugly game. You're telling me that the Ravens scored their first point 6 minutes to go in the first half. It didn't score their last points of the game until 28 seconds left. Like, it took you 59 and a half minutes to beat one of the worst teams in football. It's a little scary. And I know the backup was in, but they moved the ball. There's always these butts in here. But, dude, I'm highly concerned at this point. They're 8-4, 3rd seed, but are they really? They're probably one of the weakest teams in the AFC out there right now.
So I've been predicting this entire season.
What are you, Nostradamus? No, I'm kidding.
Somebody's leaving at the end of this year. It's either going to be John Harbaugh, it's going to be Lamar Jackson.
You've been consistent on that.
I've been saying that's going to be the big change if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, that one of those two are going to leave. Even if they did win the Super Bowl, one of those two are probably going to leave. I think signing Roquan Smith was more of an indication of, we're not paying Lamar what he wants. So when Lamar has a lackluster season like he's had, and now he's injured yet again, I've said it on the show before, Lamar has never finished a full season. He has never been on the field for every play under QB that he's supposed to be on. Yes, you can sit him in the 4th or whatever. I'm not counting that. But there's not been one full season where he has been on the field for 60 minutes or however long a QB needs to be on the field. That worries me as a supporter of the Ravens, that there's a guy that you're willing to pay a lot of money to who is going to miss the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season. They're saying this is 1 to 3 weeks. I mean, last year they never ruled him out, that he could potentially have come back later on in the season. So if they go on a losing skid, they lose 3 in a row, are they just going to keep him, on the bench or not playing the last couple games because they know that they're just going to lose out? I don't know. But I think this is a sign right here of, if it is worse than a 1 to 3 week issue for Lamar, could we have potentially seen Lamar Jackson for the final time in a purple jersey?
Crazy to say, isn't it? But it's not too far fetched.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it is. I think Lamar has a price tag in his head that he wants, and I think. I mean, I hate God. It sounds terrible, but he's
Let's
kind
talk
of.
about it.
But
Yeah.
he's kind of proving that he's not worth that amount.
He's not.
I'm
He's not.
sorry, he's not. I know everybody.
Free.
Yeah, go ahead.
In 3 weeks, right? And then what happened? What happened? Like, legitly, what happened? And it stands right now with your whole contract right there and the worth of the money. You want to hear, and I posted this afternoon. This is a sickening stat. Lamar has 4 games this year out of 13 weeks, right? They played 13 weeks. He has 4 games, and that's with a bye week, so obviously played 12. They have 4 games where Lamar threw for multiple touchdowns. But I mean multiple touchdowns more than 1, 2 at least. 4. He had 3 of them in the first 3 weeks. He threw for 3, 3, and 4. The last multi-touchdown game that came all the way fast forward, it was the Thursday Night Football game against Tampa Bay. He started with 10 passing touchdowns in the first 3 games. Right now, 17 total. So you're saying from week 4 to week 13, he's only missed 7 passing touchdowns? Now, what's even crazier, Geno Smith 10 games of multi-touchdowns. Geno Smith has 22 passing touchdowns compared to Lamar's 17. Now, isn't that crazy? Like, Lamar, just think about that for a minute. Like,
But you also have to think about
if you could take those stats into a negotiation table. Like, well, hey, Lamar, like, there's all these other quarterbacks that are better than you. Jacoby Brissett has more passing yards than Lamar this year. Put it that way.
Is that on Lamar, or is that the fact that he doesn't have a wide receiver to throw to? Or he doesn't have Ronnie Stanley blocking for him? Is that a factor?
It has to be somewhat, but I don't think you can hold that. That's not his fault. Like, injuries happen. But I get your point. But it's still, whether Bateman, whether his number one receiver on the team, whether there's, one of the all-pro linemen goes down, he's still got to perform. But I don't know, man. But Bateman didn't go down until that Tampa Bay game. So weeks 4 through whatever week that Tampa Bay game was, like 9, 10, still didn't get in gear. I mean, look, like I have his chart up here. Like, let's see, Lamar Jackson. So Bateman went down in the same game that Andrews did. It was the Thursday night Tampa Bay game. That was week 8. So he had Bateman in week 4. He had Bateman in week 5. He had Bateman in week 6. Bateman in week 7. The Ravens went 2-2 in that stretch. Lamar's touchdowns: 1, 1, 1, 0. That's it. 3 touchdowns in 4 weeks, and I have to go back, but I don't think any of them were to Bateman. And he threw 3, 3, and 4. Bateman was in there all the way through week 8. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I get it. It could be it's somewhat of a factor. I don't think it's the factor, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. Not worth the contract. Very well could be one another team next year. I don't know. I don't know if you just let him walk and burn down the whole system and start over again. We'll cross that bridge depending on how the Ravens do with these 5 games and where they end up. And the offseason is going to be a lot of fun, but I think you have to have the conversations now and start speculating and start thinking about what that might be like and what the scenarios are, because it is no secret he hasn't played up to that hype, and I get it, right? If you look at the wins and loss record, right, he's one of the winningest QBs, winning way over 70% of the games he started. Ravens, he didn't finish the game. He started it, but they ended up winning it. The Ravens are 8-4. I don't think he would get credited for that win. I have to go back on the stat sheet and see if he even did. But even so, had the team at 7-3 before he left. So, I mean, the team wins with him in there, but statistically, he's just not worth that money when it comes down to the bread and butter of it all. But it's going to be interesting to see what the Ravens can do from here, because they're not going to be without him for at least 2 to 3 weeks, if not 4. And if, at that point, 3 weeks is Christmas Eve game against the Falcons. The 4th week is the Pittsburgh game at home to end the season, the home finale on New Year's Day. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes to play. I mean, what the Ravens lose all 3 out? Does Lamar come back?
That's what I'm saying.
Does he even come back if they give 3 out? Now, we've seen this before last year, right? Huntley was formidable, right? Got us in games, won for a few things that go our way. The Ravens win some of those games. They were in every single game last year with Huntley in. So I wouldn't say the future's bright. I say there's optimism to be had, yes. But there's also doom and gloom to be had, because you are arguably without your best athlete and best player on offense right now as it stands, and he touches the ball the most. But he's been inaccurate. He's been erratic at times this year. He hasn't read defenses. But I'll even go far as say this, and it was with both Huntley and Lamar in there on Sunday. How many times did you see our quarterback rolling right for his life? The offensive line broke down, man. I went to the restroom at the stadium, and it was funny. I do that because usually on defense I did, because defense hasn't played a part recently, and usually the offense is exciting, right? So I'm like, I don't want to miss the scoring. So I flipped it. I was like, the defense is doing great. I'm going to go take a break. So as I come back to the seats and on the television inside the stadium, I see Huntley rolling right. And I'm like, no, that is not good. What does he do? Throws an interception. But not only that, but when Lamar was in there in the first quarter, every time these quarterbacks were getting set and trying to look down the field, they were getting pressured. So I'm like, you can call one a new quarterback, one a new offensive coordinator, one a new head coach, one everything all day long. I want a better offensive line. And I get, like, is Ronnie Stanley the key piece to make that all the glue that put it together? I don't know. Yes, you want him in there. He's great. He's a great player, and the Ravens paid him. But the offensive line stinks at blocking. They cannot block. They couldn't have a clean pocket. There was times where Russell Wilson had a cleaner pocket and had a good set amount of time to throw. Yeah, he didn't anything. He didn't do anything with it, but the fact remains is that's got to get better and it's got to get cleaned up, because if you can't run block, you can't pass block. It doesn't matter if you have an all-star cast on that. Bring all the Hall of Famers back. It doesn't matter. You're not going to do good, and it's got to get better across the board, because scoring 13, yeah, I get it. They scored 13 against Panthers and won, and they scored 10 against the Broncos and won. And you have to give credit where credit's due. The defense still held their own. Yes, it's Russell Wilson and that anemic offense, but they didn't allow the Broncos to cross into the red zone. They kept them at bay. They only gave up 9 points, 3 field goals, no touchdowns surrendered. They gave up 9. Yes, they scored 10 and won, but hey, the Ravens could have scored 30. And, we've been jubilated, but the fact remains is they got the win. Right now it's important, but major issues across the board, man. And it's Steelers week here in Baltimore, bro. First one of the year in early December. I can't wait. But yeah, I'm excited. A lot of fans are like on the fence. They're like, I don't know if I should get excited. I'm like, bro, wake up. It's Steeler week. Let's go. It's our great rival. Like, come on. I'm excited, but I'm going to enjoy it while I can until the game starts, and then I start worrying what might happen and what could happen. But got to get together, man. It's got to be better across the board, but you got to put this behind you. But bro, it's grim. There's a lot of concern to be had here.
There is, and it's like you said, we still got plenty of football in front of us that we got to worry about right now. We got to worry about the Steelers. We got to worry about the Browns. We got to worry about finishing out this season before we worry about the long-term future. But when your star QB goes down,
I'm a little worried. There's a lot of worry here.
There is a lot of worry here. I completely agree. But, we're talking about long-term issues that we're going to have, what to do in the offseason. And that's a scary thing when you sink all of your money into one player. Yeah, he's a star and he's got to be the leader and everything like that. But having a solid backup like we have in Tyler Huntley is why you can't spend all of your money on Lamar Jackson. He's never finished a season. We need a strong QB backup to be there when Lamar can't go. And luckily for the Ravens, Tyler Huntley is a solid backup. There was let me find it on Discord. One of our Discord users that are a part of our server, she actually said, "I really like Tyler Huntley." It was Roz who brought that up to us and said, "Hey, I like Tyler Huntley. We're lucky to have Huntley as a backup. He could be a starter on any other team," she says. So I got to agree with that. We are lucky to have him. Let's see what Tyler Huntley does in the next couple weeks. QB controversy? I don't think so. Like, if Lamar does come back in 3 weeks, I think Tyler Huntley's back on the bench. And I think he's fine with that. I think those guys are buddies. But it is very intriguing to see how the offense responded with Tyler Huntley out there instead of Lamar. Because I do agree with you. I think there was a little bit of a spark, and there was a little bit of like, we got your back, buddy. We're going to take care of you. And you didn't see that with Lamar. So it is very intriguing to see how these guys are going to react. I think these guys are going to rally around Tyler Huntley, and I think they want to play the best they can in front of him, give him a good chance to win this game. Now, if you look back at the game on Sunday, he had a good showing, but there were some really boneheaded calls by Greg Roman. I mean, you finally got the offense on the same page. They're stomping down the field, and then you try some trick play and give the ball to Prochet to throw into the end zone where it's filled with the opponent. What was that play about?
That play did a lot of fans in, and I'm glad we got to that point. You look, razzle-dazzle's fine. At times it works, at times it doesn't. But to have one of your wide receivers just carelessly just chalk the ball up like he was supposed to be open, I don't like that at all. I didn't care for the play at the time, and Harbaugh kind of agreed in the press conference, right? He was like, and that brings us to more points there. but he just said he didn't like it at the time. He thought it wasn't, wasn't a call that he would draw up at the time of the game. But here's the thing: if that's the case, why don't you overrule Roman? If you have Roman calling his own shots and you're not like kind of overseeing that, why don't you just intervene at that point? Because that to me is another alarming thing. But what I also disagree with is Harbaugh. I took an excerpt from his presser on the Prochet whole throwaway because obviously he threw into what like apparently it was like triple or quadruple coverage, and you're throwing a trick play to Kenyon Drake of all people. Like really? Like Roman, really? Look, I like the creativity, don't like the execution, obviously, and don't like the way it was drawn up. But Harbaugh said, quote, you don't throw it into four guys, but he's a wide receiver, so I won't hold him accountable for it. We'll take that as a coach. We'll take that as a coaching. I think opportunity should be in parentheses there. We can do better with play calling. It really had no chance. Listen to what Harbaugh just said. We can do better with play calling. How about that? You think, coach? You think? But I also disagree with this, Brandon. Why? And I even said this on socials. I disagree with Harbaugh on this point. Why? Because if I'm calling a trick play, which I trust and require my wide receiver to throw it down the field, you best be certain he understands what he needs to do. All the ins and outs, all the contingency plans. You better throw it away if you see this coverage. Right. Prochet's not a guy. He's going to read all that. But look, if you're going to trust him to do that and execute, you best believe you have to have full confidence that he can at least get it done or coach him up. Have the quarterbacks coach or Lamar and Tyler come over and help him out with that and say, hey, bud, we're gonna roll this trick play wrinkle in here. Here's what you look out for. And if you see this, dump it off or throw it away or do this. But like he literally just like got the ball, didn't even really look, it just chucked it to me. I mean, I don't know. It's just that's uncalled for. It can't hoop. And coach, it kind of like rubs me the wrong way because he dismisses it by saying, oh, he's just a wide receiver. Like it doesn't matter. You're trusting these players to do that in a game. Yeah, it's outside their skill set, but you still like not going to hold them accountable for it. Like, yeah, you better because it could have cost us the game. It was a turnover and it could have been costly. And it's just, I don't know, man. I wholeheartedly disagree with the coach and it got under my skin. And when I saw that play, I stood up I was standing up for a while and was just like, what did I just witness? Like, that's it. And that's coming off of a Roman calls of lately where it's like 2nd and 14 and they're calling a check down play, a screen pass to Pat Ricard, and it's 3rd down and 4 and you're calling jet sweeps to Duvernay. I'm like, I get it, right? You want to get these guys involved, but for goodness sake, man, call the right plays at the right time. Like these gimmick plays and these little gadget plays, and it's not getting the job done apparently, but I don't know. But moving on from the interception, apart from the defense being stellar against, and I say stellar because, look, they kept them at bay, allowed 9 points again, no touchdowns. 2 bright things about Huntley and Huntley's performance. Do you realize he completed 84% of his passes?
Wow.
We're not talking a ratio of like, oh, it went like 9 of 13. He was 27 to 32. He threw it over 30 times, man. Like, that's good. That's trust. Now, I disagree with Roz. Like, I don't think he could start. Unfortunately, I do disagree. I like Huntley, so agree with that point. I like him, and I like his energy and what he can do, and I like to see him start, right? I like to see him get playing time, but I don't think personally he's a starter on most teams, because if that was the case, then I think he would get his due. I feel like that's what he is. He's reduced to backup. I mean, at first we thought Joe Flacco could be a starter on some teams even after the start of this year, right? And he's been demoted to 3rd string, even with Zach Wilson being benched. I mean, yeah, we're comparing apples and oranges. You know, a younger Tyler Huntley who has a skill set of a lesser skill set, but the same kind of skill sets of Lamar, and you're talking to Joe Flacco beyond his prime and a pocket passer. But again, 84% completion percentage. Take that for what it's worth and note that pretty good. Yeah, the pick was uncalled for, but learning experience. But at the end of the day, Brandon, the team got the ball with 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. They were down 9-3. The ball got down on the 9-yard line. He took the team 16 plays amassed 7 first downs, covered 91 of those yards in 4 minutes and 34 seconds, and scored the game-winning touchdown on a rush play. Now, I will say this, during that series, it was really close. That whole direct snap to Andrews, they barely got that first down. I was holding my breath as I thought they didn't get it, but the game was over. So, look, 2 bright things coming out for the offense. He led a game-winning 91-yard touchdown drive. Now, which was also interesting, obviously, with the Monday Night Football game, it wasn't the game winner. We did see Tom Brady do that again for the 44th time. But Tom Brady also led a 91-yard scoring drive, which was insane. So, but again, not comparing Huntley to Brady, but it was just unique. The stat for the weekend, it said both Tyler Huntley and Tom Brady both led 91-yard touchdown drives is all I'm saying. It's pretty unique, pretty cool stat. But look, 84% completion percentage with at least 30 attempts. I think that's stellar. It's definitely stellar on my end. And he led the game-winning score, and they were pinned inside their own 10-yard line. Like, with the game on line, I thought it was brilliant. But he's got to carry that momentum, put the stakes behind them, and carry that momentum and see what he can do. But that's the thing is, he threw it 30 times, 83% completion percentage, or 84, or whatever it was, round up or down. And you take that and you run with it. And you keep the mistakes to a minimum. And, yeah, he doesn't take the top off the defense with long balls. That's Lamar's skill set. Because everybody's like, well, let's see Tyler throw it deep. I get it. He doesn't have the arm strength. But do we really need him to do that? This isn't the kind of offense anymore. Nor do we have the players to do it. I get it. Jackson's a burner, and we're talking about Deshaun, but that's years in his rearview mirror. But they got their hands full because Pittsburgh, enemy territory in Pittsburgh, is tough sledding no matter what, when, how, what day of the week. And they got TJ Watt who can wreak havoc. You're talking about this offensive line that's already weak at pass blocking. I'm already having nightmares of seeing Watt and attacking Huntley and Huntley running for his life. And this is going to be a mess, and you can't get anything going. And that's another thing. You can't have rhythm on offense when you have disruptions like that and the line can't hold. Not only that, but they got Minka Fitzpatrick on the back end. Rolling right into this matchup. Steelers defense, obviously, this is typical AFC North rivalry, right? 2 defenses that mirror each other. They're smash mouth. They're hard nosed. They make plays. You look at it now. You got to on offense. This is the first time we're seeing the Roethlisberger-less Steelers. Had to say that slowly because I butchered it before. Roethlisberger-less Steelers for the first time in a long time. You remember last year? It should have been Big Ben's last game ever, and they lost in overtime. Again, it was a great game in the rain, final season finale last year for the Ravens. But you're looking at this game, they have a rookie quarterback and a rookie number 1 wide receiver, Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, the Pickett Pickens show. It's really weird how that works out. But there's where I think the Ravens, if you want to give them an edge, because they have a defense, I'm going to say better. Doesn't mean both defenses are top-notch units this year. And with having TJ Watt back, obviously he was hurt earlier this year, but we knew it wasn't season ending for him. He come back, and I knew he's going to be back for this one, especially both of these bouts later in the year. It's going to be a low-scoring defensive struggle. I told my boys it might be one of these 13-9 games again, like we've seen before. Like this might be it might be another like we've seen. It'll be like the Broncos score. It's going to be low-scoring, but the fact remains is the Ravens defense goes against. I believe it could be their first rookie quarterback of the season because I don't think they played a rookie this year. They get their first looks at Pickens and Pickett. And we know what they got Najee Harris and such, and coming off some angry one wins this year. Pretty cool on Good Morning Football. But you got their hands full, and it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out, especially with Huntley under center. Do they have enough on offense to get the job done?
Well, good news is that Ronnie Stanley was a full participant in practice on Wednesday, so that's a very good sign. Potentially, we could have Ronnie Stanley out there on Sunday blocking for Tyler Huntley, so that is at least encouraging. The Ravens also come into this game against the Steelers on a losing streak. It's 4 losses to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they know that, and there's a lot to play for in this game. Mark Andrews was asked about that, and he says, yeah, we know, and we're excited about this football game coming up on Sunday. So there's a lot of reasons to get excited for this game for the players and for the fans because the Ravens are ready to play. They're rallying around Tyler Huntley. They're in Pittsburgh. Both teams, doesn't matter who's playing, backup, starter, doesn't matter what position. Ravens, Steelers, both teams always bring it, and they're ready to rock and roll. I mean, remember the injury-laden season, what was it, 2017, 2018, something like that, where all the Ravens had to, or all the Pittsburgh Steelers had to do was to defeat the Ravens, who had no Joe Flacco, and everybody else was hurt, and everybody was out, and I think we were on like our fourth, fifth string QB. And the Ravens were able to come away with a win and hurt the Steelers' playoff chances. So it doesn't matter who's playing. It really doesn't. Enemy territory. These guys are ready to rock and roll. We hopefully are getting a little bit more healthy, and we're going to have Ronnie Stanley out there. It doesn't look like J.K. Dobbins will be available this week, but at least Ronnie Stanley will hopefully give Tyler Huntley some time. T.J. Watt does scare me, though. That dude, I mean, that dude is scary. So he's scary good is what he is. So I got to respect him for that. He's gonna give us some fits, but will we see another 10-9 game? There's a very good chance of that. And we also know John Harbaugh's record against rookie QBs, like you brought up, and he has a pretty good record. You know, he likes to bring in those rookies, QBs, go against them, and show them how the NFL is really done. So there's a lot to think about in this game. It's going to be a very fun one to watch as a Ravens fan because we still have the playoff hopes. Hopefully this isn't the last time Lamar's in a Ravens jersey going out with a bad knee. You think about it, too, though. With Lamar, he had other injuries before this. He missed a couple practices due to a hip and a quad injury and some other stuff, or a thigh injury. Now it's his knee that's affecting him. So his legs are getting really banged up. It was an ankle injury last year. But it's Ravens Steelers. I mean, it doesn't matter who's playing. If you're not excited for this one, you got to check your pulse. Make sure you're still alive because this is going to be fun. We've never seen something like this before. Backup QB against the rookie QB. Two really good defenses. We've seen that plenty of times between these two teams. But this is something different. Let's see what Roquan Smith can do for his first Ravens-Steelers game. That should be really exciting.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And, hey, I got my juices flowing. You've seen the bulletin board material out all week. I love to hate this team. And I got my Pittsburgh Sucks towel. Actually, it's right here. It's right here, man. I got it. Got my Pittsburgh Sucks towel. It's the purple towel to rival their stupid yellow towels. And I can't wait. And thought about going up there in enemy territory with Jimmy Seafood, but I'm going to be staying local here in Baltimore and watching it with some folks here. And can't wait, man. Can't wait to get this one going. But I also am concerned with this game that I just don't think with the situation with the Ravens, and I don't know if Huntley can get it done. Root for the guy, root for our team, root for the offense, but I would have to be hard pressed. I mean, I would hate to on a Ravens Steelers week pick against the Ravens. I'm having a hard time trying to, sit here and saying to pick the Steelers, but it's like, do we even see the Ravens? Because the Ravens are underdogs. They were apparently 4-point favorites before the Lamar injury. Now they're 3-point underdogs. Like, spreads aside, are you confident even if you want to pick this team to win the game with what's going on? Or did you think, the situation right now doesn't matter and the Ravens have enough belief in their current state that they can get it done against this Pittsburgh defense and this team?
I think this Ravens team is out to prove something, and I think that they want to prove that the offense is the offense and the offense is not just Lamar Jackson. So I think they are going to rally around Tyler Huntley. He should know. He's been with this organization for a while. He knows the playbook. It's not like it's a brand new QB coming in. He plays very similar to Lamar Jackson as well. So it's not like this team has to adapt too much. If this offensive line can stay strong and can do what they got to do, I mean, Tyler Lindenbaum, we need to see the best game of his young career at center against this Pittsburgh team.
Speaking of him, did you see him fired up when Huntley got in the end zone?
Yes.
He ripped off like a high kick and a fist pump. Love that out of the guy. And you're right. I want some more of that energy and everybody rallied around. You know what? you know what, I kind of want to feed off that too. And, you certainly here in Ravens land, you can't pick Steelers on Steelers week, man. Everybody probably won't want to listen to our show anymore. So I am picking the Ravens in this one, but barely. Think they get by with, let's call it a 3. It might even be a 1 or 2 point win, but let's call it a 3 ball. I'm actually going to call Justin Tucker game winner on this one. It's how close it's going to be. I'm calling this one 13-17 Ravens.
13-17 Ravens. All right, very nice. I'm right there with you. I think that it is going to be very low scoring. I do think the Ravens can come away with this win. I really do. If they don't, it's going to be really rough road ahead. But the Steelers team is still trying to find themselves with their new rookie QB. I think the Ravens got something to prove. I think they want to ball out, and I think this defense is going to keep this team in the playoff hopes. So I think the defense is going to have an absolutely stellar game. I'm going to say that the Ravens win 13-10.
13-10, you got it.
That's what I think. So, I mean, Josh, this has been a little bit of a bummer of a show, but we still got 5 weeks of Ravens football to talk about. But for this one, have we covered everything for this episode of The Call?
I think we got it covered. Can't wait to this Steelers bout with a hearty quote the Raven nevermore.
All right, guys. Well, if you want to continue the conversation with Josh or I, you can. It's real easy. All you have to do is go over to our Discord, discord.gg/thecallpodcast. Make sure you join our server, join our game day chats over there, and we get to have a good time on game day watching the Ravens together. Now, we do this show for free. You listen, stream, and download for free on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Player.fm, Overcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. All we ask in return is for you to please spread the word about the show. Write us an Apple Podcast review, rate us over on Spotify, and then let people know on Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr and Pinterest and Instagram and Reddit and Snapchat and Twitch and TikTok and Discord and Hive. Anywhere you're social on the web or with your phone, say, I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, I listen to The Call, and you should too. So, hey, Ravens, Steelers week. Before we get out of here, though, Josh, we didn't bring it up. We got to talk to you about this. You were live on the radio in Colorado this past Friday. Tell me about that experience. What was it like being a part of an enemy show?
Man, that was amazing. Sucks I know you couldn't join. I
was listening live, though. I was listening live. I thought you sounded really good.
Thank you. I did send a link to a few folks. I know my dad and a few friends of mine listened as well live, and I got the outpouring of feedback after the show. Those who listened live, great. Now, it was a great experience. I was really, really happy to be invited on there. I want to thank Jim for extending the invite to us on the show and the Jim Davis show. It was a treat to be a part of their Know Your Enemy segment. And it was an awesome experience. I'd just say that. And, to get to talk about the matchup and, get to share, some opinions and thoughts about it and have some dialogue with others in the media as well, covering the other teams. It was great to be a part of. And I hope more opportunities like that come. And like me and you talked, we got to kind of return the favor and start inviting the others on our show and do our own segment of that. And, it doesn't have to be every game, every opponent, every week, but I feel like maybe we should start with the AFC North teams, kind of like start from there and branch out. But I think we can certainly evolve and grow and learn from that. But it was a treat to be a part of. And hey, it was great to be on, local Colorado radio and spread the news about the call. Like Jim pointed to at the end of the show, if there's that one or two or a handful of displaced Ravens fans that are relocated and they're in Colorado and they want to catch some Ravens content, where can they find us? And it was a treat to, use that platform to spread the love and the knowledge about the call out there and get our show out there. So, we thank the Jim Davis show heartily for reaching out to us to extend the invite. And it was a pleasure to be a part of the show. It was fantastic. And it was an awesome segment.
I love the fact that you gave them PTSD by bringing up the Mile High Miracle. That made me laugh.
It did to me too. I was like, it wasn't even a part of it. It was just, again, conversation and talking about the rivalry. And I mean, they've had some good games and, I had to bring that one up for sure. Yeah. And then now they got another ugly loss to put in their hat there.
That's right.
Broncos bout.
Yeah, you're quite the historian because you do think about it. There is a very long lineage of really good games between these two teams. Like I brought up earlier with Bengals Chiefs, there are certain teams you really don't think that there's a rivalry, but Ravens Jaguars and Ravens Broncos, they might be games that I start to circle on the calendar, going like, these are games that we're going to really have to pay attention to because there's such a history between these two teams. It's really interesting.
Absolutely, man. You got to think, the long history and lineage of teams that have those storied rivalries, and they go way back. And not only that, but the Ravens have their own tale of the tape as well with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you realize how close this matchup is? The most games decided by 3 points or fewer since the year 2008. Remember, the year 2008 stands out. That was Harbaugh and Joe Flacco and Ray Rice's rookie year, and we went 11-5 and had it a third bout with the AFC title game in Pittsburgh. We know, unfortunately, bad taste in our mouth how that worked out. In division rivalries alone, 3 games, divisional games decided by 3 points or fewer. The Ravens Steelers lead it with 16.
Wow.
Rams and Niners and Chargers and Chiefs are tied at 11. We have 16 games between our two since 2008. It's decided by 3 points or fewer. Maybe I should have said 13-16. Maybe I changed my score to 13-16 instead of 13-17 because, 3 points or fewer might happen. 22 of the last 28 Ravens-Steelers games have been decided by 1 score. There you go. And of the 14 last regular season games the Ravens-Steelers have played in Pittsburgh, 10 of them have been decided by 3 or fewer. This game is going to be so tight. Better watch every minute of it because this is not going to be your everyday blowout. This is going to be tighter than tight. You think a 10-9 score is tight and squeaking by. This one's going to be just as bad. I really can't wait to get it going, and you'd love it. But me and you, big fans of the show. Boy Meets World, right?
Yeah.
My buddy Mark gave me some more material that I always use. He sent the infamous meme. You see this? Pittsburgh tried to ruin this, and as we all know, Pittsburgh tried to ruin Corey and Topanga, man.
That's right, they do. They owe us an apology.
Exactly. So, boo Pittsburgh. They tried to ruin Corey Topanga, but they're not going to try. They're going to try to ruin our Sunday and get a Ravens loss, but it's not going to happen. We're not going to let it happen, are we?
Better not.
Are we?
No.
I love that. See, at least you're confident.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I can't wait for this Ravens-Steelers bout. As always, I can't wait. Sunday at 1 o'clock. And it's not the ketchup bottle anymore. It's what, a Accenture Field or whatever? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not Heinz Field anymore.
Exactly. Good. I'm still not eating that ketchup, though. Still not. Still from Pittsburgh. But get your hate on, is what I love to say. It's Steeler week in Baltimore. You love to hate this team. You love the rivalry. Hate the team. Respect them, but you hate them. Nah, we hate the Steelers, and I can't wait to beat them on Sunday. How about it? If you're going to the game and you're one of the few faithful who are representing the flock, how about it? In enemy territory, behind the enemy lines. I can't wait to get it done, but how about it? Ravens-Steelers, another bout. Oh, you bring up another good point. Britt Baker.
That's right.
All right. That's right, Britt Baker. You had to do that. You had to go there. You had to do it.
Take your focus off what you were talking about.
You got me. And see, now you just ruined it. I don't know.
Is your signed Britt Baker action figure, that I also have one, the one that you got signed, is that in your Ravens room or is that someplace else?
It's someplace else.
Okay. All right.
It's not for me. And I didn't take the whole figures out and put the Pittsburgh shirt on her. Now it's still in the package.
Oh, good. Still in the package. Wait, good call. I like that. Good call.
Yeah, we didn't go there. You know that, but that was a treat to meet her. And now you got me all flustered. And oh, Britt Baker. It's the one good thing that Pittsburgh has. Claim to. I mean, hate everything else about it, but hey, if Britt Baker, I want to give a shout out to you, but we're still going to beat the Steelers on Sunday. How about it? We're going to go to enemy territory, and it's going to be interesting to watch. But let's fly high with a win on Sunday.
This This has been a production of Brando Cash Entertainment. Music by Brad Lepore and Daniel Kelly from the DBK Studio. For more information, go to brandocash.com.